September 22nd, school board meeting to order. And that's Mr. Gene Liddick, if he is an invocation for the next.
Lord, we just want to thank you again for another day you give, Lord, blessings you give today. Lord, we just thank you again for letting us assemble here and do work for our school, our district board, and we can make things better for our teachers, administrators, and most of all our students, Lord. We ask you to continue to be with us. We're this year, Lord, moving out real quick with the Christmas time before we know it. Always ask you to continue to be with us and bless our students. Keep them safe. Lord, we ask all these things in Jesus' name. Richard, Blue, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a need for business. Entertaining a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Mr. Ivy, okay. Second. Any discussion about the agenda? Please call the roll, please.
Mr. Ivy?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Anthony? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Robiton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jeter?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Liddy?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. McMorris?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Shropshire? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Truitt?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Massey?
Yes, ma'am.
The motion is approved.
Entertaining a motion to go to executive session to discuss personnel matters, new hire, and personnel issues. Thank Mr. Truitt, Ms. Bruin. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Truitt?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Robiton?
Yes.
Mr. Ivy?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jeter? Mr. Liddy?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. McMorris? Ms. Shropshire? Ms. Anthony?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Massey? The motion is approved, and I'm at 6:32.
That's coming out of the executive session of vote for this bill, you get a confirmation of this meeting.
Yes, sir.
Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of 8:25 meeting.
So moved.
Ms. Rothschild and Mr. Hyde, any discussion on the minutes? Call roll, Ms. Pettis, please.
Ms. Shropshire. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Ivey. Mr. Rosen. Mr. Jeter. Mr. Lucci.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Morris. Mr. Truitt.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Anthony. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Massey.
Yes, ma'am.
The motion is approved.
First off, I'd like to welcome all of you here today to see that we get to, honor our students and recognize their achievements. That superintendent does this, we always enjoy doing this part of it. Superintendent, for those who- Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize for you.
In the minutes, if you go to the back page, underneath the third slide, after we have discussed the, ruling that the ball four schools, and we went back and we amended the motion about the village. I asked for something to be brought back to us. You acknowledged it.
Right.
Said that it need to be brought back to us. I have not seen anything yet. I would still like to see that. I do have something from the South Carolina Revenue. The phone number's all over it. And, Mr. Frank Rainwater, the executive director, for any time we call and get any information that we need, and it will take about 5 minutes to do so. And it's been 1 month. And I still don't have any information. And you as the board chair, you even ask for the information to be given to the entire board. I would appreciate it. We'll get that information brought back to us.
Get that, can we receive tonight? And if you guys apologize for listening, look that word. Okay, yeah.
Well, it's strange, it's strange, Mr. Master, that you and I can talk about something that friends not in the boardroom, and immediately the following day, we received email, but we couldn't get this one, we wouldn't take the 2 or 3 minutes to get it.
We'll get it tonight. And also, go ahead, Mr. Stewart, I got him.
Sir, we request approval of the personnel report.
So have a motion to approve the personnel report. So, Mr. Jeter.
Second.
Mr. Jeter, who was second? Mr. Stewart. Any discussion on personnel? Call ready, roll, Ms. Davis, please.
Mr. Jeter.
Yes, ma'am?
Mr. Truitt.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rosen.
Yes,
Mr. Ivey.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lucci.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Morris. Ms. Shropshire. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Anthony.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Massey.
Yes.
The motion is approved.
Any other business?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, want to share with you some good news and update. We recently heard from USC Union on a grant that they had applied for probably almost a year ago with the Appalachian Regional Commission, which most people call it ARC. They have received the official information that they're going to receive this grant, and give you a little background for this grant. The proposed STEM bus project will bring hands-on, interactive science, technology, engineering, and math education to schools and community centers across Union County by transforming a school bus into a fully equipped STEM lab. This initiative will provide students with access to cutting-edge robotics kits, 3D printers, and virtual reality systems, fostering academic achievement and sparking interest in STEM careers. The bus will visit schools, community centers, and public events, offering tailored lessons assigned with the state standards. This grant received, let me add this too, students will participate in engineering challenges, including such activities as bridge building. Also, this will provide portable astronomy demonstrations and night sky exploration. So it's a big benefit for our school and community. The whole idea of the STEM mobile lab will travel to community locations, will promote and announce that the buses will be there. It's kind of like we do our book program in the summer, and we'll announce where the bus is coming, and the kids can participate in STEM activities in those community locations. But also, that bus will travel between our schools and provide some activities for our students at our schools. The total grant for for USC unit they received for the STEM mobile lab is in the total amount of $250,000. The district's portion of the grant is to provide the activity bus, which will be converted into the STEM mobile lab. The bus that we recommend transferring ownership to the university is a 1998 International bus, which is not being used for any of our student activities. It's actually been parked. So we make a recommendation that we transfer ownership of this bus to USC Union to make this STEM mobile lab a reality for our community and our schools.
What grades will we be able to produce with this one?
Overall, we K-12. Now, certain visits to schools, you could have, we're coming on this day for maybe a third grade activity or eighth grade or whatever, but when you pull back the community, you might advertise certain activities for this day, like robotics, but overall, we K-12.
I like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the administration and give the bus to USC.
That motion on the floor by Mr. Peters to accept it.
I'll second it.
I'll put it on Ruin and second. Any further discussion?
Yes, please. Who will manage this program and how's that going to be?
So this becomes a property of USC units, and they're the ones that complete the grant, and it's their grant. Now, this bus could easily house maybe some of our kids. Like, we got a team that specialize in robotics that can go out to community events or to some of our schools, and it could always be some of our instructors, but it would be managed by USC. It would become their ownership.
Yes, ma'am.
What do we typically do with park buses? Do we usually auction those off or anything like that?
We do, and the last one we auctioned off on Good Deals, we received about $5,000 for highest bid. So I do see this as a better use.
Any other discussion? You please call the roll, please.
Mr. Jeter? Mr. Burlington? Mr. Ivy?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lacy?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Morris? Ms. Rothschild?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Schroeder?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Anthony? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Mason?
Yes, ma'am.
The motion is approved.
All right, an update here, and this is to, at last month's meeting, as already mentioned, the school board voted to rescind the previous amendment to a motion taking the maximum amount of tax millage each year as allowed by state law. With that conversation being public, I felt it best to bring this back, so it was not only the board, but also the public kind of knew the background to why some board members wanted to rescind that motion. And I refer you to Union County Schools Board Policy DB, labeled annual budget. So if you want to make a note of the annual budget policy DB, and I'll give some highlights of this policy. First of all, I'm going to say the annual budget process is truly what it says, an annual process. It's year by year that we develop a budget and go through our procedures. The annual budget is the financial plan for the operation of the school system. The board will make an annual estimate and budget form of the funds necessary to carry on an efficient educational program for the school district and the tax millage necessary to provide such funds. So once again, that's annually. Before adopting this budget for the next fiscal year, the district will advertise the public hearing on the budget in at least one South Carolina newspaper of general circulation in the area. The notice will appear not less than 15 days in advance of the public hearing. The notice will include the following, and there's about 5 bullets before the 2 normal covers since millage is the topic. It will cover millage for the current fiscal year. Also, it will, in that notice, include estimated millage in dollars as necessary for the next fiscal year's proposed budget. So each year, in this notice to the public, we got to show present millage and any estimated millage for the next fiscal year. The Board of Trustees is authorized by South Carolina law to levy school taxes. The Board of Trustees can only increase millage above the rate imposed for the prior tax year by the percentage increase in the consumer price index over the previous calendar year plus the percentage increase in the previous year in the population of the school district as determined by the state budget and control board. And that's actually what you did as a board. You went back a year and did the present. So our budget process is done on an annual basis. That's why some of the board members wanted to rescind that motion and get that vote in line with our policy. Next item, a few announcements. On October the 2nd, we will have our parent conferences in the evening at our schools. And then also in the morning of October the 3rd. October 3rd is also not just a parent conference day, but labeled as a teacher work day. So October the 2nd in the evening, and then the morning of October the 3rd. So please, while we got a bunch of parents here, then take notice on your calendar and make sure you work your schools to schedule your parent conference. And then probably what many of you are excited about, fall break is October the 6th to the 10th on your calendar. So that's coming up in a couple of weeks. Mr. Chair, that's all my updates, and if it's okay, I'll move into special recognition. Dr. Murphy, if you want me to vote, it's one of our favorite times that we can bring our students in and recognize their hard work.
Good evening. We are excited to recognize our students for their great accomplishments. When I call your name, please come forward to receive your recognition and your certificate and remain with us for a picture. I will start with Jonesville Elementary Middle School, Jace Roberts. He made a 100 on the ELC Algebra 1 exam. Sims Middle School, Colton Anthony, 8th grader at the time, also made a 100. His teacher was Ms. Rhonda Palmer. Jason's teacher was Ms. Mullinax. Also from Sims Middle School, we have Kenya Goggins, Rhonda Palmer teacher. Next from Sims Middle School, we have Eli Goff, Rhonda Palmer teacher. Next from Sims Middle School, we have Andrew Liveright, Ms. Palmer teacher. And lastly, from Sims Middle School for Algebra 1 100 days, we have Kaden Scales, Rhonda Palmer teacher.
That was a lot of fist bumping board members to, if you come around here to the board, they always like to congratulate you also before you get to go back and see us, okay? So we're gonna make the board members get up and down.
The next end of course assessments that we will acknowledge for tonight is Biology 1. Union County High School, Mason R., a student of Miss Jeter Gregory. Erica Bennett, a student of Miss Jeter Gregory. Taylor Burnett, a student of Miss Jeter Gregory. Jasper Shropshire, a student of Miss Jeter Gregory. Gabriel Sawyers, a student of Miss Jeter Gregory. And Amaria Duckett, a student of Miss Myra Boulware.
You got the routine, fist bump time. You go around this one, I'm gonna do it myself.
Our next end of course exam will be U.S. History from Union County High School. Tia Davis, a student of Brian Robinson. Tyson Ward, a student of Mr. Robinson. Matthew Sanders, a student of Mr. Robinson. Christian Solis, a student of Mr. Robinson. Congratulations. We would now like to acknowledge our students that made a 100 on the English 2 ELC at Union County High School. Anaya Crosby, Miss Audrey Robertson, teacher. Chase Tillman, Miss Audrey Robinson, teacher. Elijah Pickett, Miss Taylor Bailey, teacher. Harrison Boots, Miss Bailey, teacher. Mike Ford Patterson, Miss Balcom, teacher. Michael Gallman, Miss Robinson, teacher. Erica Bennett, Miss Robinson, teacher. This is Erica's second time coming around. Taylor Barnett, Miss Robinson, teacher, second time coming around.
Just stand right there for a second, and that way we'll let the boys get up one time. Let's understand.
So now we're going to shift to grades 3 through 8, and we're going to look at the SC Ready assessment. From Monarch Elementary School, Caleb Jeter, Miss Reed Kingsmore is his teacher. Or was his teacher. Ava McCall, Miss Goodell at Monarch, was her teacher. And Andrew Liveright, who's now a ninth grader, but Miss Palmer was his math teacher at Sims.
All right, now you can start the fifth one.
Before everybody sits down, I'd like to give their teachers a big round of applause. This time you can stay, if you want to stay for the drawing, feel free to. Don't. But thank you, John.
Go catch it.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Jill.
All right, our next item on the agenda is an action item, selection of delegate vote. The delegate assembly is December 6th, 2025. Our school district is allowed 2 votes. So we need, 4 members to attend. We can have a situation of 1 delegate vote twice, or 2 delegates each get a vote. We need at least 1 delegate and an alternate. At this point, Mr. Mark Shirley and Mr. Manny Jeter have signed up to attend the delegate assembly. In fact, I think both leaders were who attended last year. And they are registered and ready to go if they show interest.
Both of y'all still in there?
We hope so. You ready?
We'll make sure. Entertain a motion to approve the delegate. Make a motion. Mr. Allen.
Two votes by one person or each of those?
floor is to approve Mr. Jeter and Mr. Pruitt to represent us at the legislative conference.
On this form, I have to put, it's got to be one bag for each of the two, and I can let them know if one's absent, the other delegate will take their votes. So is that what the motion is, one each, or one's gonna be alternate? One each, okay.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ivy?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Jeter?
Yes.
Mr. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Morris? Ms. Rothschild? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Truitt?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Anthony? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Massey?
Yes, ma'am.
The motion is approved.
Ms. Boswell?
Good evening. I come before you tonight to present school board policy BEA. We will ask that we forego the first reading and go directly to approval. This is based on the new South Carolina law, section 59-1985, which reads, each public school governing body, including the governing bodies of charter schools and special schools, must make reasonable efforts to ensure the entirety of all meetings subject to the provisions of the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act are open and accessible to the public and also available by means of live video and audio electronic access, hereafter referred to as live stream access, except during a lawful executive session. We're actually already doing that. We've been doing it in Facebook. We've recently changed to YouTube because of some issues with our videos may remain posted. But the YouTube videos seem to be working out a lot better. And we're actually using our backup system to not get it tested before. We have to have this implemented in full by January 1st, 2026. So we're way ahead of the curve on that.
Entertain a motion to approve policy BEA. Wish to override for Mr. Jeter. Make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the administration. Got a motion, Mr. Jeter? Second, Ms. Rothschild. Any discussion?
They are saved. On YouTube, it's actually a channel, and all our videos are saved. Facebook was not able to, because of various issues, but using the YouTube channel, we are able to see videos. Sorry, previous to the YouTube channel. There are some available on Facebook, but some of them were taken down.
Any other discussion?
I just want to clarify, they weren't taken down by the district, they were taken down because if somebody complains about your video, or if they flag it and say it's offensive to them, that video is automatically taken down. It happens a lot with churches and other things like that as well. And I've learned through my church experience that Facebook's got a limit on how many years your video is gonna be posted. No matter whether you want it there or not, it eventually tires out and it rotates off. So YouTube's the better option for sure this long term.
And that's one of the reasons we went to it, was because of that. This was not, we saw this coming, but we didn't know the full extent of what they would actually put into place. So once we found out exactly the full extent, we were able to pivot to YouTube, which we've been doing about 5 months now.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Ms. Betty, call the roll, please.
Mr. Jeter?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Rothschild? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Robinson? Mr. Ivy?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lacy?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Morris? Mr. Truitt?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Anthony? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Massey?
Yes, ma'am.
The motion is approved.
Thank you so much. Policy GBGAB, accommodation for breastfeeding mothers for second reading and recommendation for approval.
Entertain a motion to approve policy BEA.
I'll make a motion.
Ms. Anthony? Mr. Pruitt? Any discussion? Call the roll, Ms. Betty, please.
Ms. Anthony? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Morris?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ivy?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jeter?
regarding policy GCLE, Administrative Rule GCLE-R, which deals with unencumbered time. Our recommendation is that you waive first reading and approve. The only difference between this and the approved policy was they added the word nurses into the unencumbered time with the new regulations.
Entertain a motion to approve policy GCLE, administrative rule, GCLE-R. So, Mr. Iverson, Mr. Lipsy, any discussion? Please call the roll, please.
Mr. Ivy?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lacy?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Burlington?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jeter? Mr. Morris? Ms. Shropshire?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Truitt?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Anthony? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Massey?
Yes, ma'am.
Motion is approved.
Dr. Burke?
Tonight, Dr. Stacy Farr is going to come provide an update on readiness grouping for the board, and our principals are here to support as well as answer any questions you may have.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board, and Mr. Haney. As Dr. Bird stated, I'm here this evening to share some information regarding readiness grouping. I want to start by asking you to picture an airport. Everyone has a ticket to the same destination, but not everyone is in the same place. Some travelers are already at the gate ready to board. Others are still moving through security. A few are circling around the parking lot trying to find a space to park. But the reality is that the plane is going to take off. The plane is going to take off at the time that is stamped on the ticket for departure. And those who are ready in their seat with their luggage in their overhead, they're going to be ready to go. But the ones who weren't ready, those who are still at the security gate, still circling the parking lot, they're going to be left behind. They're going to be delayed to their destination. Because now they're going to have to go to the help desk, get another ticket, find another flight to get to where they want to go. And the reality is that is what's happening in some of our classrooms with some of our students. Some students are prepared to take off, and others need a little bit more time and a little bit more support so that they are ready for their destination. The purpose of Readiness Group is so that we do not leave students behind while others are already soaring in the air. On the same token, we don't want to slow down those travelers who are ready, who we can push to further destinations. Readiness grouping is how we make sure that every student gets the support they need to reach the gate on time, so no matter where they start, each one has a chance to get on that plane and to reach their destination of success. Readiness grouping is not anything new. That may be a new term that maybe hasn't been floating around, but readiness grouping is the same as flexible grouping, small group instruction, intervention, guided reading groups, differentiated groups, and learning clusters. These have been happening inside of our school buildings for several years now. It happened during WIN time, enrichment time, power hour, and STAR time. And I do believe that you've been familiar with those as the principals have come and shared with you each year. When our principals decided that this is something that they were going to do, they all started looking at their data. They met with teachers, they talked with parents and with family members. I have been checking in with the principals regarding any feedback, whether it be positive or negative, since the beginning of the school year. To my knowledge, not to our department, have we had any parent to call and complain or question. Principals have shared that they have had parents come in to ask questions. Can you explain this to me better? What is readiness grouping? Talk to me about where my child is in this class. But once they explain that to them, the parent leaves, everyone is good, and the student has shown success. You have a packet with your board packet tonight with data from our schools. The first page was requested, so I want to make sure that you get the information that was asked. The number of students with IEPs in the least ready group. So this is by school and by grade level that is participating in readiness grouping. I do want to point out that as you can see, not all students who have an IEP are in the least ready group. That did not automatically put them there. It was based off of data, teacher input, and conversation. We did also want to make sure that it was indicated if students had an IEP for speech that was not academically related, so that you could see those who are in there as well. Behind that, you will see I call it a packet minor paper clip for each school. The first page shows where students were when they came in, based off of each of the groups. Based off of our current diagnostic of iReady, you can see if students moved in and out along with student growth. I thought it would be very important for you to see that we are on a slow timeline right now because school just started. So this data was pulled almost 3 weeks ago. So there could be changes to this, but I had to prepare for you and get all the information from the principals. But there could be some updates because that is happening continuously at each of our schools. But we want to make sure that you see that just because a student has not moved to the next group or to a different group, they are making that growth. So you can see the growth on each of those, it is indicated. But again, we are short on the data for this particular report. More goes into it than just our diagnostic, looking at assessments, looking at conversations through MTSS, through grade level planning. Also, behind each school, the principals have shared with you their plan to move forward, the assistance that they have for teachers and students in each of the classes, and then any other readiness information or data that they wanted to share or see fit that correlates with their school. I also want to add something very important and make sure that we all understand. At the beginning of the year, when students were placed into these classes, and we have had some of those movements, some of those students did physically move a class. That conversation was had with the parents because school was just a couple of weeks in, and we saw that this would have been a better fit for the student. But those were personal, either face-to-face or phone call conversations. Moving forward, now that we are this far in, that probably will not happen. What will happen is it will be like an intervention time in school. So think about, I'm just thinking reading intervention or math intervention. When we had reading recovery, those students, there was a time that if they were being served, they are being pulled out. So what will happen now is as these students, if it's an ELA block, they may be in that classroom for that tier 1 instruction, for that whole group model, but it may be during that small group time that the kids move around. That's that flexible grouping, just like what was happening in our win time, enrichment time, power hour, and star time. So you will have that movement, but again, it is so that teacher can focus on moving those students, knowing exactly what they need. I shared with you before that the concept of readiness grouping is the same, but it is going to look different at each school based off of student need, staffing, goals for each school, goals for grade levels. So that is why I've asked the principals to be here tonight, because they can better answer specific questions that you have for their school. Does anyone have any questions?
I don't have a direct question as far as per school or whatnot, but what do we do when we have IEPs that make our classroom inclusion class for 60% of our class size?
So we do not have any of that, and we work very hard to stay away from that. So I don't know that that would happen, but if something did happen, that's when we would, get our director involved, Ms. Irington. That might be a conversation in an IEP meeting, things like that, and you may wanna jump in and help with that, but we definitely try to steer clear of that. And right now, we are in compliance, we do not have that.
What about when our lower groupings? Because if I remember correctly, we kind of brought it up today in session, last month, didn't know what was supposed to, but if I remember correctly, we did, you said the lower groupings would have like more help, more people, or more coaches come in and stuff, are they still doing those?
I don't recall saying that. So our coaches do work, our coaches for math are part intervention and part, coach. For ELA, they do go in and assist with the teacher. I don't know, again, by school, that would be their schedule, so a principal can answer if their coach is going into that, or if they have an interventionist going into the least reading group. But I would like to defer that to the principal, because that's a school. And there are resource teachers in the school, that would be the push-in model, and maybe that's what you're referring to, instead of the kids
I just remember
pulled
last
out.
year, they would get pulled last year, before we started the Readiness group, I know a lot of kids get pulled that were maybe below the high rate, or struggling with high rate thing, pulled to help them. So I just didn't know, so since they're lower, they'll be doing that, they were doing that.
If the staffing is available, I would say yes, in your schools, and of course, resource teachers are going in, if a student has an IEP, but that is law, so they are definitely getting those services.
The thing, I've had some thoughts about this irate curriculum. I know that apparently I put out a message to mandatory to have an irate curriculum being taught in the classroom. Just, I don't know, from the point of view of a teacher and, from a parent and a school board, we discussed this about letting our teachers speak, that, same as Ron earlier, she just had 7, 8 students just get perfect scores. I was in Ron Palmer to take, but she's known for 30 years and teach that. She doesn't see fit that this hour is enough, on a curriculum standard and pull information. That's what I want something that's more effective than just saying, hey, we have to do this. I understand. I think diagnosis of it is great. I love tracking kids and I love it. Individualized each kid and we're able to track them better. I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing for curriculum. They make it, of course, from other sections, they feel better, they feel like getting around the kids than just for this irate and getting stuck on one curriculum. I don't know what y'all thoughts on it.
So, we have told them that that is their first source that they go to, but that is not the only source that they can use. So, I use it periodically with Ms. Palmer, she's here, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, and she knows where to go to pull those resources, and she has her toolbox. And so other teachers are free to do the same. However, we have to build up the rigor inside of our classrooms, and that is what we're working hard to do right now.
I'm on transition one more thing. The common assessment thing we want the county, whether it's math, course,
The county does that?
yeah, they're doing math,
It's from IRA.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, I'm just hearing that the common assessment is a lot harder curriculum, or, material than it is what they're on paper. Like it's kind of above what they're needing.
It matches the standards, and the standards is what the students are going to be tested on at the end of the year for SC Ready.
I got that. But what I'm saying is you got a fourth grade, but he's on the 5th grade, and on the 5th grade, the first grade, but he gets this material. It's just, I'm not sure what that is.
So that's when that small group comes in, because you're right, during that tier 1 instruction, they're getting that whole group lesson. But then our teachers, they are doing a great job with small groups. That's one thing that we're really honing in on this year as well, not just in reading, but also for math. So they're pulling their students, they're knowing those deficits based on those common assessments, and they're working with those students to progress them forward. But we have to close those gaps.
Excuse me, I have one question. Do our teachers have the flexibility to adjust lessons and tests to promote moving up the list?
I'm going to say yes, if that's a conversation, but I'm going to defer that to our principals, but I think, I would say yes, but we haven't had that conversation, but I think that's a school conversation.
Go ahead. Someone else.
So during our graduating planning times, our coaches, our math coach and our reading coach, they provide the tier one lesson plan, which is on the grade level standards. And then the teacher has the opportunity to then provide a tier two or tier three lesson that she or he plans. So yes, so they have the grade level instruction that's given in tier one for that entire grade level. And then based on the data, they meet the needs of their students. If they are ready, they of course give them the ready tier two or tier three lessons. If they're not ready yet, then they may have to go, like you said, back to that kindergarten. Because what we've been doing in the past is building a house where the foundation isn't firm or strong. So we're working on building that foundation.
Just as you say, Mayor, you want to do this as kind of directing for some of your paperwork. I know you've got some references to Hodges Elementary in your presentation. One of them is the number of teachers versus student enrollment. So if my numbers are correct, Hodges Elementary is basically one teacher for every 19 students. Yours says 32 teachers, student enrollment 449, which is one teacher for 14 students. Am I correct there?
I think I also included like our sped teachers, whereas I don't think they included, I think they just have classroom teachers.
Okay, so it's about the same, I mean,
It
you
was.
take out. So, I know you referenced Hodges Elementary throughout your presentation. What are they doing that is putting them 35 points ahead of us?
Their readiness grouping. Last year, we went to a WPEC conference, all the principals went, and that was one thing that they presented to us. That's where we first, or that's where I first heard about readiness grouping. At our following principals meeting, in January, February, we're always asked to look at schools like us that maybe score better than us and reach out to those principals. So that's what I did. I reached out to the principal at Hodges Elementary, because I wanted to know. When I compared Monarch to their school, in some areas, Monarch outscored them. But when it came to academics, they hit their tail. And so we went, a group of principals, we went and visited Hodges Elementary, and we sat for hours. We spent a whole day there. And that's where we learned a lot more about readiness grouping and how they did it and how they use test scores. And so we came back and tried to model that, because it is just a nearby campus kicking our tail.
So how long have they been doing readiness group?
So in my packet, they started, I think it was in 2020. We did not get a report card that year. So during COVID was when they actually started. And then that year, nobody in the state got a report card. But the following year, I think their scores grew like 16 points just from doing that for that 1 year. Then as you can see, from there, they've continued to grow, and they've been an excellent school for the past 2 years, and this year they'll again be excellent.
Thank you.
Can you explain tier two and tier three, what's included in that one? Can you look into, so tier one is whole group university. That's based on standard. Yes, based on standard. Okay. And then tier two is gonna be support. Most of the time, you're gonna see that in the classroom. The teacher is providing that support during a small group. Tier three can also be done by the teacher, but it's usually one-on-one. But most of the time, you see tier three being a full-out, truly specialized interventionist.
So at Monarch, we have our reading interventionist that goes into our K-1, 2 classes. She goes into our not ready yet class. Um, she pulls out with data, she pulls out a portion of those kids and works with them while the teacher still has a small portion so that we're in a much smaller setting, like 10 kids in each group. And so that's more like a tier 3. The teacher can do a tier 2, because really the tier 2 and tier 3 is not just for our not ready kids. It's to excel those kids that are also higher up tier.
So there was a question about tests. The way I understood it was, does the teacher have the right, I guess, to make the test based on the kid's needs, or is that how it's not? From my experience as a parent, I'm seeing testing is the same test for all students, which happens, and it's based on that standard. So I haven't noticed that teachers have the authority or can change the test.
So
It's all computerized.
Sure, I understand. So we have common assessments that are for the district. So those are they're not district made, they're actually from IReady or HMH. They're based off of the standards and the rigor. Teacher-made assessments, teacher-made tests, we don't really control that. Are you asking if like a teacher who teaches 20 kids can differentiate her test for multiple kids in the classroom? Is that what you're asking, Mr. Archer?
I'm not asking that, but I think that's the way Dr. has understood it.
I
But
just think, do they adjust their test in different groups? Not testing all of them on the same thing. Because I was
based on ability,
So the test is, so twofold, yeah, so the test is gonna be, we have to assess the standards, because even if you're in 3rd grade, 2nd grade, 4th grade, and we are giving you assessments, we have to know that you are meeting grade level requirements. However, if I'm pulling a small group and I'm working with this group on, phonemic awareness, the skill of phonemic awareness, I can do an assessment for that child. Now, to be fair, I would need to do an assessment for all of my small groups so that you do not have extra grades than a group over here, but yes, they do have that flexibility.
but the test would be the same on phonemic awareness, whatever, for all kids in that classroom. Are you gonna change that test based on group, small group 1, small group 2, small group 3?
I think you would assign that test or create those questions based on what you taught in that small group. So if it was different, which is that differentiated, then yes, they can do that.
Is that happening in our district? Because I have not experienced that as a parent.
Yes.
Some schools are doing it, and some schools aren't. What I'm seeing, shaking my head, is that correct? So we're not being consistent, and we're not providing these opportunities to every student in their district.
We have never said that they couldn't do that. So I mean, if we need to go back and make sure that teachers, principals, that teachers know that that is something that they can do, but that's never been sent out as you can't assess what you're teaching in the classroom, even if it's in a small group and not a whole group.
My point is, too, that each school in Union County is still doing different things. I know we have these common assessment tests now, and I know everything's not good because I get it, but it is not consistent. And I see that in this here, in the data, I see it in the instruction, I hear it from our community, from our parents, I hear it from teachers. They don't know what's going on. They're very confused about this grouping and readiness. It's just not consistent. It's not, I don't know that it's helpful right now. It may take us 3 to 5 years to see the benefit of that.
I just ask that you let us continue to provide you data so that you can see
I want data.
before you make that determination.
And can we have it consistently give it to us? We've got one school that gives us a whole bunch of things, and other schools give us 2 papers, and they're not on the same format, so it's not hard to decipher between. Is there any way we can standardize the form?
So the data is all the same, that is what I gathered for you, the information is what they gave you. If you would like to share some type of template that you would like for them to fill out so it can be streamlined, just let me know what you would like.
First of all, I'd like to thank, years go by. At one point in time, I know a lot of people say, well, we got a history with it. But I'll tell you what they say. We had our veteran teachers, like when Miss Paul came along, she was a new, when Miss Anthony came along, we had veteran teachers that nurtured what I call the newbies and helped them get to where they need to get. And the schools that was excelling, the principals would have meetings and they would come together and they would share information and documentation and show what they were doing to make things happen. I'm a firm believer in early childhood development is the key to success in education. And this is where it all starts. Kindergarten, well, it starts at home. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, all up. I would like to see us start coming back together again as a family and not be as a group of people that's competing against each other. And I know that every couple of years, they change everything. And especially when you got somebody that's sitting in those higher up seats that's never been a part of public education. And they've never been a part of poverty. And never had to really work hard for anything. It was always passed around to them. They'll change stuff from the White House all the way down there, just change stuff in a split second. We have to find one common goal, one common ground, where we all can work together and make sure that all the principals get what they need. So therefore, all the system principals and all the teachers, the math teachers, the ELA teachers, and all the rest of it, get everything that they need so they can pump into these kids. So that they can be productive on the other end. Because if we fall short, they're gonna fall short. And I know that every kid don't get everything they need at home. But this is what you all chose to be. This is what we chose to be. And when I made the statement a month ago that we need to know our role, when I said know our role, I mean we need to know what we can do and what we can't do. And it's a lot of times we're not doing everything that we need to do. So I thank you all. And there's no way I can sit here and shoot you out, come down on it. I appreciate you. But please come together as one big unit. Let's work it out, figure out what works, what's going to make us happen, what's going to make the State Department look at us and say, look at what they're doing. It's so different. Their numbers increase the way they increase and jumping up. Like I watched what happened with Mom in the past few years. I knew that no, there was some changes made, and there was some other teachers that went into Mom. So we need to be doing this across the board.
I do appreciate the fact that you guys are benchmarking other places because we do know that there is room for growth. I would like to know, just for my information, how are we sharing between schools? Do you guys have, a time frame where the principals or assistant principals or the interventionists come together and they actually share what's working, what's not working, they troubleshoot, they spend time together. I know that we want every school to be excellent. I mean, obviously, we'd love to see our scores go through the roof and it just happen overnight. It's not going to. But if we're not sharing across schools, then of course, we're just hurting ourselves because we've got capable people inside of our walls that can get us there. I know that. So that's my first question. Do you have a way that your guys are sharing across the board within the district?
Yes. So the principals, we now have a core meeting once a month. The first hour of that is data and conversation. So that's one piece of that. Secondly, our coaches, math and reading, meet once a month. It's a half day each. And that is for them to also share and then they can take back into their school. These principals speak every day between text messages and phone calls. When there are teacher work days, they get together. They even include Dr. Carty quite often. He is part of that. And so they're all working together to share those things. The coaches, when we come together, we identify teachers in other buildings who are excelling in certain areas. They go back and work it out with their principals. We find class coverage, and we've been doing that since last year. And they will go into those schools to see those teachers teach lessons, and then report back and share that, and then grow from those experiences. So we're getting our teachers into other buildings to see excellence and to share. Like I said, our principals are sharing with each other and our coaches are sharing. Teachers do come together and share. It's a little bit harder because they are in class. However, we do have those early release days where they're together for PD. We do have app times that we implement. And they also have group text chains for grade levels and in between schools. So there is a lot of that collaboration going on, and we need to continue that. It has really been good. Like I said, we really started it towards the end of last year or middle of year, and we've implemented that again throughout this year.
So our teachers, hopefully all of our teachers who hear this under the sound of my voice know that they can go to someone if they do feel like they're struggling with something.
Absolutely.
And get some help. They see that someone at this school is excelling, but they're feeling like they're kind of struggling. I do appreciate that. I do also understand what Ms. Shropshire said. We did get this part of the packet. Some of it was missing. So I do reserve the right to ask you further questions later, because I do need to look over this. I'm a very visual person, so it's going to take me a minute. But I would like to see some more standardized data across the schools as well. I don't care the format either, but I do want to be able to compare apples to apples, if that makes sense. But thank you. I appreciate all the hard work that's going into this. I know how standardized testing is. You kind of feel defeated before you ever get started, but just keep chugging and hopefully this will work.
Any other questions? You feel like your coaches, you like the fact that like they're pulling kids out, you think like they're going into the classroom. You said that should start last year, watching the teachers teach and stuff. Has that been good feedback from the teacher and the coach?
Yeah, so when they do coaching rounds, they work with the teacher. They're not observers. They don't go in and just watch. They go in to see how they can assist to make that higher teacher quality. They are teaching with them.
Does that happen at every school?
Yes.
Is that every day?
Well, they have grade level meetings. They may not have gotten into the classroom that day, but they're planning with the teachers during grade level meetings. That's not sit down and get information. That's looking at data, planning, pulling resources, and supporting the teachers to go back into the classroom. But overall, I mean, yes, I think that would be.
If there's chance to disabilities, for the most part, they also elementary school personnel. So that's different from coaching.
Like I said, one more thing. One more thing. I just want to say, I know we're all here for the same reason. And our principals, they want what's best for our students, our teachers want what's best for our students. And sometimes hard is uncomfortable. And we are definitely in a hard space right now. And so it is going to take time. And we are constantly, I had a meeting today, we're constantly having to encourage and remind that once we get past this, we're going to be okay. But I do ask that you just give this time to work, because honestly, what we've been doing shows that we need to do something else. And if we implement this with fidelity and we're progress monitoring, we're going to see our students soar. We're going to see them on that destination to success. So I just ask that you be encouraging, just as our teachers need that support, so do these principals, so that they can take it back and feel like what they're doing is truly given a chance to make a difference. And if you have phone calls of someone who doesn't understand, please send them to the principal or to me, and let's see if we can help them understand. Because I promise I haven't gotten one phone call, and the principals are telling me the same thing. So if we have parents out there, we really need to talk to them so that we can help them understand what is happening inside of their classroom, so that we do spread the positive message of the positive change in the student growth. Thank you.
Mayor, come on back in.
We had two requests for overnight field trips. One is forthcoming in October 20th and November 1st. It will be the National FFA Convention for our students here at Union County Career Center. They'll be traveling to Indianapolis, Indiana. And the second one is for our baseball team at Union County High School during spring break to travel to Hendersonville, North Carolina for a tournament.
Under the assurances for the baseball field trip, do we have parental permission from all of the participants? That assurance is not checked, and I just want to make sure.
He has given me a copy of what he sent to each parent, and he may still be collecting those for that trip in April.
The baseball team's not filed yet, it won't be until probably January this year.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
There's got a motion, Mr. Truitt, a second, Mr. Ivy. Any further discussion about the activity? Call the roll.
So, speaking of what Ben said, if that's not checked, can we approve it? You gotta sign it tonight.
So may I say something?
Yes.
The assurance is for my office to make sure we have everything that we need, and we check these to make sure. So the permission forms are kept at the school level, but the field trip coordinator confirms that he or she has all 18 or however many it is. So oftentimes I'll get lists and it might say 18, and then I go count, it might be 24. I make sure I change that and update it so that it's there.
Of course, this falls on top of her to make sure before they go.
Looks like also it needs the approval to begin fundraising.
Yes,
Any other questions? Sorry.
because he couldn't be out asking for donations if it hadn't come to be approved.
Call the roll.
Mr. Truitt?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ivy?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Brevington?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jeter?
Yes.
Mr. Lacy?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. McMorris? Ms. Rothschild?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Anthony?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Massey?
Yes, ma'am.
The motion is approved.
Last but not least.
Good evening. Of the financials for August, revenues year to date, local revenue $338,000, state revenues and transfers $4.1 million, total revenues year to date $4.4 million. Year to date payroll $3 million, year to date operating expenses $1.3 million, total year to date expenditures $4.4 million. Net operating results for August is $20,000.
I'm assuming that's normal.
That is normal, we're just starting to get money flowing in. That's pretty normal. Any questions? Thank you.